Everyone, we're going to jump right in today, okay? Obviously, lots to talk about.
For those of you who hate the pre-show, you got your wish.
Yeah, there you go. Great. It just took a pandemic to get rid of the pre-show.
That's right. The Lucky World today is Thursday, May 12th, 2020.
I'm Michael Lagello.
I'm Russ Cohen from Sportsology.
And I'm Eklund. You're watching HockeyBuzzcast on HockeyBuzz.com. This is the podcast that comes every Monday through Friday, the afternoons, to fill you in the comings, goings in the hockey world, even though it's morning. So, yes, it is morning. And obviously today we've got a lot to get into, and where we are. Obviously, we're not breaking news to anybody what's happening here. Everybody's aware that the NHL is going to come out at 1 o'clock here, and
well, maybe after 1 o'clock.
Well, they're holding a governor's meeting at 1 o'clock, one per team, one governor per team,
right? And
to announce what they're going to do. They've already canceled all the practices, all the morning skates today, any team meeting, and basically keeping people.
But I mean, Eck, I think you would admit that it's a foregone conclusion.
Oh yeah, no, it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to postpone it. I think it's important how they do it, though, and I think that's what we want to talk about today. Like, I think the way the NBA did it is a horrible way to do it. I want to throw that out there.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's horrible. I think the problem was when you, and I forget the guy. What's the guy's name, Mike?
Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert. When you have an idiot like that running around and not paying attention to this for the last 2 weeks, and actually joking about giving it to people, and then after knowing he has it, touching all the mics and the table before he leaves, that's why they acted the way they did.
That's got to be like criminally.
I'm not defending him, Russ, but what I'm saying is I think that video of the press conference that he had where he was before he was
no, but it doesn't matter because he was joking about giving it to people for weeks.
Right, but this guy is an irresponsible friggin' idiot.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's and to the unfortunately for the NBA, I mean, it happens in the middle of all this comes down just their games are starting last night. They're in the process of and they had to make a quick decision. And I think the NHL was smart in not just coming out and saying the same exact thing right away.
Well, I said to Russ that I thought that in when it comes to something that is this serious, you don't really want to be concerned with the appearance of sort of being, sort of like just echoing what another league does. But I think the NHL would not have looked good if the NBA all of a sudden one case comes out and they shut down the league and the NHL says 5 minutes later, oh yeah, we're shutting down the league.
I think they do their own research, and I think that's good. I mean, we talked about yesterday that this was all going to be fine until a player got it. We mentioned that on the podcast, and that was inevitable. So it's really a tough spot. So I think as this plays out, what we're going to see more and more is the NHL, formulating a plan, and hopefully in some. Now there's many different things I wrote on my blog today, all the kind of different things I've heard, and there's rampant rumors out there. They're obviously not going to continue the season just as it is right now. They're not going to play to empty stadiums, I don't believe.
Let's because I read it, Ak, and I said the least likely option, unless this explodes 5 times more than it is right now, is the season is canceled completely and we go the same direction as 1918 or 19, whatever it was, where the season was canceled because of the Spanish flu. I have to say though, I didn't foresee this happening. I mean, we were talking about it just sort of like, oh, that's not going to happen. And then 24 hours later, the NBA is shut down and now the NHL is likely to shut down. So did I think it was going to escalate to this? No, but go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, I had an idea that it would get worse, and that's why when I was posting things on Facebook, people were really fighting me because in this country, I get that we all want to think about, hey, we don't want our lives to change when we're fighting terrorism or we're in war, but this is different. Your life is going to change and you have to change. That's the problem that I was seeing with people. But as far as sports, I mean, I just wrote about it on Sportsology. MLB hasn't shut down. Spring training games are still going. Now, I don't think it's good science if they're going with the thought that because it's warmer there, that it's safer because
And
we
it's
don't know
outdoors,
about
right?
this particular virus.
Well, I haven't heard of the percentage of outbreak in Florida or Arizona as opposed to like Washington State where there's.
I'll look it up.
Well, no, it's definitely we're definitely better in warm weather. That they know.
Right. But the thing is though, is that, okay, great. So you're going to get your spring training games in, but your season starts March the 26th, and you're going to be playing in places like Baltimore and places.
Yeah, they shouldn't be doing it. They should be starting the season later.
Right. So
they're not going to start. I mean, they have a 180 game season for crying out loud. They can start
162, but yeah.
All right. Well, here you go, Mike. A JetBlue plane passenger diagnosed with the coronavirus after landing in Florida. He came from New York, so it's in Florida.
Right. Now
it's everywhere. There's only like 3 states where it isn't.
Right.
But
and those are states probably that have no people, like Montana or something like that.
Yeah. But to me, okay, I do think the NHL won't just come out and cancel the season.
No,
I don't think so. I don't think so either. And the interesting.
No, I mean, there's no reason to because they could go with the 14-day incubation period, shut it down for that, shut down the regular season. We could talk about a new playoff format because I think they'd have to have a new playoff format.
Well, that's
what they do.
That's where I wanted to go because I think the next least likely option after canceling the season is postponing and then rescheduling to get the last 13 games of the season in. You're not going to move the Stanley because remember all these dates for TV, for building availability are locked in for the playoffs. I think there's a greater chance of them basically postponing the rest of the regular season, having something where like teams that are just outside of the playoffs having some sort of 1 or 3 game play in to make it fair, and then starting the playoffs as close to April the 7th, which I think was the date it was supposed to. And basically washing the last 12 games of the regular season. Now, teams like Florida, teams like Arizona are going to be pissed off because
they're out. They're just out.
They're a point or two out. But this was not foreseen. But you're not going to push back the playoffs so that the Stanley Cup is awarded on July 1st. The draft is in mid-July instead of late June. It would screw up the scheduling of the league completely.
I would just have the 2 teams in each conference who are outside the wild card have a play-in game, then they play one of the wild card teams or the winner of the wild card matchup.
Yeah, that's what I think that's
the fairest way. I mean, that's it.
And I don't think it has to happen. I do think, first of all, stadium availability is not an issue right now,
right?
And it won't be an issue in the future because any tours, no tours are being booked right now for the summer. I mean, that's a huge problem with the economy. There's going to be you're going to have plenty of arenas to play in. It's not going to be an issue,
right?
And I think so. I don't think that's a real big deal. I think that I could see them shortening the playoffs somehow, though, like we talked about before, and starting it in May.
Maybe the first round, but I can't see them shortening second, third, and Stanley Cup Finals to 5 games.
Yeah, they're not going to shorten the finals.
Maybe not the finals. But if you can start in May, okay, and you can run till July, till the end of June.
Yeah,
get this thing in pretty quickly.
Well, what I'm saying, Ak, is that there is precedence for shorter first round series. We've had 5-game first round series in the past. We've had 3-game first round series in the past.
Yeah,
you cannot if you're gonna. I mean, basically, you're screwing with the integrity of the playoffs if you have a conference final that's best of 5.
Right, they're not going to do that.
Not going to do it. No way.
They might. I mean, honestly, it depends where we are. It's so hard to sit back and say.
Well, that's the thing. They're not going to do a definite thing now, but I think what they should come out and do is say, we're going to have a different playoff format. We're going to cancel the rest of the regular season. That's over because there's no way they're getting the regular season back the minute they stop.
Right.
And over. I think that's the reason why we have this sort of delayed response, because I think they've already decided they're going to postpone, or they're going to do what the NBA did and shut things down. What the Board of Governors are getting together with is to determine when do we restart, and when we restart, how do we do it?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I give Patrick Kane a lot of credit because I was watching a lot of the NBC game, and we'll go over games later, but this is the post game, and he was getting peppered with coronavirus questions about the league.
Yeah.
And he did a very good job of answering them. Like, the league's lucky that they have some veterans that sort of get it and don't get too crazy, because in the wrong sport, I don't want to name which sport or sports, you start asking some players that question, you might get some crazy answers.
LeBron. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I really want the NHL to do, regardless of what the other thing that I had heard too was the idea of just playing these like single elimination playoffs right now, which I know it sounds incredibly unlikely, and but the idea is here you're sitting back and you're saying, okay, right now, I mean, March Madness is as of now going to continue,
right?
Without so you could actually
well, let's wait on that, because
I'm not saying well, obviously our job here is to talk about options.
No. I'm just saying right now they're saying they're going to play without fans. It could get to the point where they just cancel it completely because everything else is starting to get canceled.
Well, they'll cancel if players start coming down with it in a big way.
Right, exactly.
The best, I think the best thing would be to give a definite saying, okay, our plan is to start, I don't care if it's a month from now, April 15th, say, that we're going to start the playoffs on April 15th, and we're going to have a new format. It'll be exciting. We'll start the playoffs, and these, like some of the playoff seedings are already set. We'll have some others, that we may have to have a play-in on or something like that, or figure out that.
Well,
give people something to talk about and look forward to in the meantime, because that will keep the NHL going.
Use that as an example. If you say, because like I said, the playoffs were supposed to start April 7th. If you say we're going to start the playoffs April 15th, that gives us a month to screen everybody, to make sure the buildings are clean, all the things that they would do their due diligence.
Yeah.
If they go to a best of 5 series in the first round, you're eliminating 2 games. That's 2 dates, and that cuts about a week off of the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, you're close enough.
Right. Then you're maintaining your schedule, and you're taking all the due precautions. That works. Now there will still be teams that are pissed off in terms of, like I said, like a team like Florida, who's 3 points out of a playoff spot. This will suck if the season ends now. Now, Ken Campbell of the Hockey News came out and said, well, there are a number of teams that haven't played the same amount of games as other teams, so it might have to come down to winning percentage rather than.
Yeah, that's what I think it could end up coming down to.
And he might be right.
I do want to Florida in it, and Columbus out. There's certain situations that would happen.
There's going to be some tough calls. There's no way around it.
And I think that's what, and teams have to kind of accept that. That's just the reality of it. And they will accept it.
They'll realize
the league. I mean, the league has to go on. So
they'll realize we didn't lose the season because of that.
Right.
There's a lot of other reasons, but I do want to mention the situation you don't want to be in, and this is maybe where I would agree with that the NBA thing is sort of loopy. The Oklahoma City Thunder and Utah Jazz right now are actually quarantined in the arena, in the Chesapeake Bay Arena.
Wow.
And then maybe this morning they're out, but they were quarantined in the actual arena.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we need people to calm down a lot. We need the calmness to come from leaders to a degree. We need to just sit back and say what we really have here. We need a month to kind of get that together. And I think that makes sense to actually, it shouldn't take that long to get it together. It should be okay, this is a really dangerous thing to the elderly. How are we going to protect the elderly from getting it? Other people are going to get it. It's going to be the flu. A lot of people are going to get it. Chances are, I've heard people say, 75% of the people could get it or whatever. There's people.
Well, Angela Merkel thinks 75% of her country will get it. Yeah.
Right. That could happen. It's the flu. It's horrible, but it's, we all build up antibodies to this. That's good. There's the way the body, the way we work, it's like if we get something, if you get the flu with this,
it is 10 times more than the flu act. That's what they're saying.
It's tough. Okay. It depends. It actually, from everything I've read, and I've read a lot about it, and I've got my father-in-law's a doctor, stuff like that. It's 10 times worse in some people, and in some people it's not even
right
bad as the regular flu. So it really depends on the people, and it's really not even how good a shape you're in. It's necessarily just it seems to be how good your lungs are. And to be honest, this is the thing. And my wife, and I recommend this to anybody out there. My wife did this Monday because my wife has asthma, and it's pretty. We're not young, but we're not old, and but she's got asthma. And you can go to your pharmacy now, and they will give you the pneumonia shot, which is actually something that's worth getting right now. Because the problem with this, the most dangerous, my father-in-law brought this up to us, the most dangerous thing is if the people who are dying, it's developing into a pneumonia. Okay, that's
right.
Right. So if you're, and pneumonia usually a flu will develop into pneumonia with people who have asthma, weak lungs, and stuff like that. So
right,
it's
and
free if you have insurance.
the elderly who have and the elderly. So
yeah. So it's free if you have insurance to go to your pharmacy. At least it was in our pharmacy with our insurance, and get a pneumonia shot. And you feel like crap. You still feel like crap. You feel like crap for a couple of days after you get a pneumonia shot, but it's a little worse than getting a flu shot. But what it'll do is it won't necessarily prevent you from getting pneumonia, but it'll definitely lessen it. So the idea of that is it's worth it. So if you have,
I do want to say this too, because the one thing that's not getting reported a lot, but it doesn't have to be just elderly or the infirmed. You could be a person that's walking around that thinks they're completely healthy, but your immune system has a problem, and that's how you're going to know it has a problem.
Right. And it depends, like I had the flu earlier this year, so I mean, I've been, and the flu sucks. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
And, Kevin talked about last year, this time of year, usually we're all in the locker room with players who are fighting the flu.
Yeah. And this is the time of year, especially it's getting warmer. Their temperature changes. I mean, I had a cold on the weekend. It's, I still, and as I usually have with colds that I've had for my entire life, I'll probably cough for a week or two. I made sure that I wasn't going up to Toronto for a game this week because I'm fine. I have no temperature. I feel fine except for the cough, but everybody is on edge right now with anybody who has a cough that you don't want to take the chance.
Yeah, I don't look at people. I'm not that person. I'm not going to look at you with a jaundiced eye if you cough.
Yeah, I mean,
as long as you, and again, do the Dracula thing. I mean, if you just sneeze and it goes over the counter, I'm going to look at you.
Right.
And I'm going to run away.
The bottom line is that,
I'm not Rudy Gobert,
Yeah. But what we're talking about, and it's just wanted to get that information out about the pneumonia thing. So and stuff like that. Just stay aware. Just stay vigilant. Just stay clean and make sure everything's good.
Yeah.
The schools are shutting down in the same way. Like our kids' school is not shut down yet, but there's rumors it's going to shut down by the end of the week. And
the ironic thing here is in an economy where I don't know how much the percentage is probably 60-70% are people going to a place of work and sitting in a cubicle. Now all of a sudden everybody is like work from home.
Yeah, my wife's working from home already. And
all right, but I'm going to give you a situation.
We live in a day and age technologically where people can work from home. It's really
okay, but I'm going to give you a situation where there are businesses where it's collectively bargained that you can either work at home only one day a week or you can't work home at all, and it's in the bylaws from what the business has cut out with the union. And so in those cases, those people are going to get delayed in being able to work at home, and that kind of stinks. And that's where you kind of wish lawmakers would step in and do something about that, because those people are going to have to report to work. Not everybody is going to have the luxury of working at home.
Yeah, but I think that all that has to happen is just the government, which needs to take the initiative and say, if your job can be worked at home, you work at home, and but we need that to happen yesterday. And I don't know why it hasn't happened.
I laughed out loud. I laughed out loud yesterday when I saw a report that Walmart, apparently they have an edict that if you don't show up for a shift, that you get fired. They've waived that because of the current outbreak, but you're just not going to get paid. So it's like, oh great, great. So they can stay home and not protect anybody, but they're going to be starving.
I'm going to say this though, on the flip side, and I wish more billionaires who own teams would do this. Mark Cuban said he is going to work out a way where people can donate their time to the community, and he will pay them their salary for the arena.
Yeah, no, that's pretty credible. I mean, Mark Cuban is an amazing guy.
And I wish more people took that lead who had.
Yeah, I really wish so too. It's just this will pass, guys. It's not like we're not gonna have this for the rest of the time. But
I can't remember what baseball player. I'm pretty sure it was a baseball player. Was asked about this yesterday, and he said, we're going to be fine. Like, we may get coronavirus, but we have millions of dollars. We're going to be fine. It's the people who are selling hot dogs and doing concessions in the arenas that are not going to get paid, or selling or parking spots outside. They're the ones who aren't going to get paid, and they're the ones who are. So don't worry about us. Worry about them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Right.
that's 100% true. We're gonna find a way to get you to come to our website no matter what. You're stuck with us. We'll figure out something.
Yeah, online news is going to continue. I'm going to keep writing. You're going to keep writing.
Yeah, and we're gonna have some fun things too. I've already got some fun ideas if they come out and say this that we're gonna be doing over the next several days.
Believe me, guys, I write in August when nothing is going on.
Yeah. I mean, but that's why I want some kind of plan for the NHL, and I hope they realize the importance of the plan, because I think the plan for the NHL, if they can say, okay, we're going to reassess this in 3 weeks' time with the intention to starting in 4 weeks' time, and saying that these are the playoff matchups that are set, or something that gives everybody a chance to say, okay, if the Flyers and the Penguins, for example, are going to play in the first round of the playoffs, that gives fans something to talk about, something to have fun with, and something to because we all need that right now. This is very intense. This whole thing is really.
I'll give you something that is, and it's pretty tough to come up with a positive in this situation, but I'll try. Think of Steven Stamkos with Tampa Bay. Think of let's see, Nathan McKinnon right now with Colorado, Jake Muzzin with Toronto, a few other players who are hurt, who are probably going to be out for at least 2 or 3 more weeks. If the season is suspended for 2 or 3 more weeks and we go right into the playoffs, they're not missing regular season games where their absence would have possibly cost them positioning in the playoffs or even a playoff spot. If they start the playoffs in April, like they normally would, these players are mostly all going to probably be back for the playoffs and healthy.
Yeah.
And we could see one of the most competitive playoff of the year of in recent memory, because all these players will be rested coming into the playoffs.
They'll all be batty too.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already stuck at home and batty. I mean, the thing I was saying yesterday that it would really be nice about if we could play to empty stadiums and figure that out. Is
well, they could, I think, in 14 days.
Yeah,
they'd have to do.
I think that's like that. They could say in 14 days might play to empty stadiums. That's not a bad idea either.
Because you know what it is, Zach? The problem with that is the players have to commit to basically home quarantine or being tested within those 14 days to make sure you've either tested negative or you've quarantined yourself for 14 days. If they could get everybody in the league to do that, they can do it then.
Well, I mean, Darren Drager said last night on the NBC broadcast that there was no mandatory testing in place. That's something that had to have been negotiated between the PA and the NHL. I'm sure that a lot of these players probably are on their own, have gone out and gotten tested if they had the time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's happening.
This is the concern. And I know this for a fact, knowing the layout of Scotiabank Arena. The Raptors played Utah within the last week. So the Raptors, they use the exercise facilities at Scotiabank Arena the same as the Leafs do. So any exposure, I mean, that's how it moves. And they, Utah played in Boston, played in New York, I think they played in Washington. So these are all buildings that are commonly used by NHL and NBA, and the same thing happened in terms of the workout facilities is the case in those arenas too. So that's why more than likely they follow suit with what the NBA is doing.
They could do that, and they could do a massive cleaning of everything too, which is something that they'll do anyway, I'm sure.
Well, the Wells Fargo's doing it now because I guess did the Sixers play Detroit yesterday, and Detroit had been in contact with Utah. So they're doing that. I'm sure every arena now is just going to do it to do it.
Yeah, you do that, and then you get, and so I think, but that's why I don't want to hear the NHL just say we're following suit here and postponing. And, I think they need to have a plan in place. And I think that's why they're going to have a plan in place, or else they would have just said it last night. I think the idea here is that they needed time to figure out, okay, what's the actual, look at the logistics of all this and figure it out.
Breaking news, Pierre LeBrun just tweeted out a minute ago, hearing that the on-ice officials who are on the road now to work NHL games have been told to book flights home. So
it's inevitable.
Well, the Rangers flew home, but we're flying.
With that,
I mean, I think that's and there's no question that's going to happen. And when it happens, we're going to have some things for you guys over there.
It's happening today. I mean, because they're not telling officials. There'll be no officials for games.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna. I mean, there gonna be no games for a little while, and and I think that it's good if they do like a reassessment every couple weeks here and figure out what's going on, and that way we can have.
Yeah.
See, that's why I don't think they're going to have a hard and fast plan in place because this is evolving so quickly. I think they're going to say, okay, right now we're suspending until further notice, and then a week later, if they see local governments say, like right now, I mean, the whole Santa Clara County thing, the whole Northern California thing with them saying that Golden State can't play in San Francisco and that San Jose can't play at the SAP Center. I mean, that locks those buildings out, and they're not going to go play someplace else. So until these municipalities say it's okay to have gatherings of more than 1,000 people, it shuts things down.
Well, right. So perfect example is, in Tennessee, they just declared a state of emergency. So you would have to have that state of emergency be lifted just to be able to play a game.
Yeah. And that's why we need, you're going to need time. And I think what I agree that, you can't say exactly what's going to happen, but you can say this is, these are some options that we have, and that we are going to do everything we can to make this work in some way, shape or form. And that's just trying to keep people any way we can be strong and lighten the mood, I think is important right now.
Sure.
And just say okay, these are some options we have. This could be kind of fun. We could do something fun here. We could make this, we could start this playoff thing or play-in thing that could be.
I mean,
anything they can do like that will help. Will help them out and help them look better. And
I could lighten the mood by saying that based on their track record, that the entire New York Yankee team is going to get the coronavirus this week.
Well, I got to say, there's an actor online. He looks like a teenager, Mike Royce, but I don't know. Maybe that's just a picture. Who is a hockey fan? But he said Billy Joel should do a new version of the "We Didn't Start the Fire" for basically the coronavirus. That would be funny. We need some humor right now.
Yeah,
you do.
But I could be against that because Billy Joel doesn't do anything.
I know.
He doesn't write new songs, but he could take one of his old songs easily. That's what he would do. There you go.
Yeah, but if Springsteen sang it, we'd probably all go to sleep out of self-preservation.
Oh man! All right, let's get into last night's games for a little bit because we still have that to talk about at least. And
I watched a couple of them.
Yeah. Well, and it was definitely another interesting night, and it could be a night that changes some playoff matchups. Well, actually,
I watched a lot of Chicago, San Jose.
Yeah, me too.
And I have to say that even though we know that Chicago is incredibly flawed, they're not as bad a team as a lot of people think. And San Jose is nowhere close to being as good a team as everybody thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year. San Jose is really a train wreck.
But it's because of goaltending. If you put a real goaltender there,
Dell was a sieve. Yeah.
Dell can't move anymore, and Chicago's players knew it. If you put a real goaltender in there, I think you would see a lot different team. Just to start, just bare bones, change the goaltending.
Yeah, that would change. It would
change a lot.
Big difference. It would. I mean, that's the reality. They are that. And I agree. I mean, this is why, guys. I mean, I had the Hawks. I had the Hawks too high, obviously, but they have still talent, and they still have lots of good players.
They have offensive talent.
If they managed to get like Lafreniere or something like that, they could really immediately.
But they still need defense. Like Lafreniere will still just put the.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Defense is the issue for them, but I have to say that, and knock on wood, because he's had his injury issues over the last few years. I think that ideally that the Blackhawks wanted to keep Leonard because Leonard was the more durable of the two goaltenders. But Crawford over the last month has played really well.
Yeah.
I would think that they're probably going to sign him to an extension because they
really like a 1-year deal maybe, but that would
be one or two, but they probably get him for less than he's making $6 million right now. But they're going to have to go out and probably, if with the money that they save on a long term or on a multi-year extension for him, they're going to have to go out and get a backup goaltender who can play 25 to 30 games at least, because they can't play him 60 games anymore. But he's still a top goaltender.
Yeah. No, he is still that. He's still very.
I do want to take issue with Arthur Staple, who was on. I think he was on the midday show yesterday, basically saying that Leonard's personality had something to do with maybe why the Islanders didn't re-sign him. I didn't like the statement.
That's weird. And Arthur's really, and he is in tune with that team though.
Yeah, well, no, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that that's true because remember, it was Lou, and Lou. I think that, I mean, we can't ignore the challenges that Leonard had when he was in Buffalo. That he overcame them with the Islanders. That he's straightened out his life, and I think that's fantastic. But when a team is making a long-term commitment, they're going to be a little leery of making that commitment with somebody who has the uncertain past that he does have. And that's why maybe they didn't want to go and sign him for as long of a contract as they did Varlamov. Now, Varlamov has got his off-the-ice problem, so I don't know why that was
that Vancouver game, Mike. I think it was like the fourth goal. Varlamov put up his glove like it was a butterfly net, and there was a puck that just literally went through the air so slow, and he went at it, and it went right over. It was one of the worst looking goals I had seen this year.
Yeah, it looked like we lost it probably, and somehow in the stadium or something like that.
Right, and this is the problem with him is he'll be great for 3/4 of a season, and then all of a sudden heading into the playoffs, you have to worry about him.
Yeah. No, that's really true.
Yeah, so I mean, and I don't know if that's going to be a stigma that follows Leonard because Leonard signed.
It shouldn't be.
Right, it shouldn't be, but it
could.
It could be. I mean, that's the thing. He signed a 1-year deal with Chicago. Supposedly, Chicago wanted to sign him long term, but he was looking for what he thinks is he deserves on a new contract. He didn't agree with what Chicago apparently was offering, so they trade him to Vegas. He's going to be on the market next year. And if it's a case where, Carolina is not going to give him more than a 2-year deal, well, then he's going to be this guy he's going to be the Alexander Semin of goaltenders, where he's hopping from place to place on a 1-year deal. He wants a career stability, but he may not be able to get it because of his past.
Yeah. You're right.
It's possible. It's a shame because he's really good.
Now, conversely, in terms of teams after the deadline, I thought San Jose was dreadful last night. Dell played his part, but they, other than getting an early lead against Chicago, they really weren't that effective. The LA Kings have really turned it around. I mean, they beat Ottawa yesterday, and Ottawa is playing up.
No, but they're winning.
They're winning. They're impressive right now.
No, they're doing it with a lot of the young prospects they've had that have been coming up for a while, and they've always had. The good thing about this is how many times did we hear the Kings rumors about the Kings trading these guys, and they didn't. And it's good. So it's good to see that they held on to it, they stuck it out, and now they're getting the reward from these.
And they've always produced defense, and I'll give a shout out to Mark Yannetti, who's very involved with all of their scouting and development, as well as Michael Fuda. Those two are two of the best in hockey, and you could see it with their picks on the ice. You could see it with Turcotte signing out of college now, and he's going to play with Ontario. You could see it with all the centers they have in their organization that are all young. It's coming.
Yeah. It's a slow process. Now, the final thing that they have to do is find some way to get rid of Dustin Brown and Jeff Carter and these slower guys who are sucking up, I would say, larger amounts of the cap than they really deserve. I mean, that's the reality. Older players, when they start to slip, the amount of cap room that they take up will hurt a team. I don't think anybody's taking Jeff Carter off their hands, and he has no trade control, so he's not going to go anywhere that he doesn't want to go. Dustin Brown is a shadow of his former self.
Yeah.
Quick, I think there's hope for Quick coming back and being at least a contributor, but it looks to me like they got rid of Jack Campbell to give Cal Peterson a chance to basically be a 1A, 1B type goaltender with Quick, and that makes sense because Peterson's really good. He's young. He's proved in a small window in the NHL that he can play, and he's proved it so far. So,
yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. Yes, I
think when I was looking at the Ranger game for a minute because that went late.
Yeah, I did,
and I stayed up for that, and the Rangers managed to tie it with Buchnevich tied it probably with 20 seconds to go in the game, and they got a very important point. Now it could be more important than ever, depending on what the NHL might do with playoffs. But then Cale Makar sort of took over because he's back, and he took over in overtime and helped set up and scored the game-winning goal. And, the Cale Makar-Quinn Hughes thing is interesting because as I've done more digging now, even if Cale Makar were to lead Quinn Hughes in points, Quinn Hughes would be my Calder winner, and I'll tell you why. Forget about plus minus. Like fans who thinks plus minus, like this guy's playing the number one defensive role on Vancouver, but he's also their number one shutdown defenseman. Cale Makar is not that.
Yeah, he's not.
He's everything offensively and skating and great and fantastic, but he is not stopping things and preventing things the same way Quinn Hughes is right now. And so that's why, to me, Quinn Hughes is actually the leader. But it was good to see Makar back, and man, he looks. I mean, again, this guy's special. Like if you think about it, he doesn't look any different than he did in college playing in the pros right now, even after injuries.
It's incredible. It really is.
It is.
I mean, he's been so much fun to watch. And there are so many great young players right now in the league. It's just crazy. I was trying to look at the
Frans Nielsen. Let's talk about Frans Nielsen for a minute.
Yeah, please do.
He is their goalie. Like he made some terrific saves. He's unflappable. He is their playoff goalie. Grubauer has lost his job. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, no, there's no question about it. I agree. And because you just when you watch the way very Francois.
He's very matter of factly. He's really good.
Really, very much like it reminds me of so many like French Canadian goalies that have been similar to that, like Giguère.
Giguère was a little bit more flamboyant, I think, but
very different styles. But like it just has the whole thing of like there's that certain calmness to them.
Yeah.
That that in every situation they play exactly the same way.
Just like Maxime Ouellet. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Maxime Ouellet. Nice. Or Bunny LaRock.
JF Berube. Just to illustrate the point, Cal Peterson, since being called up in last month after Campbell was traded to Toronto, is 5-3 with a 2.64 goals against and a .922 save percentage. That's pretty good.
Sorry, Sabres fans.
Yeah.
Yep. I did, Mike. You didn't bite the other day. The Leafs put out a meme for Mitch Marner playing his 300th game, and I retweeted and I said, it's a shame Mike Palmateer never got to that 300 game meme. He played 296.
Well, I mean, Palmateer had his injury problems, right? He did.
He really did.
He got bowled over. I was at a game where Mike Palmateer got run over by Danny Gare. He had just come back.
Well, luckily, Danny Gare didn't weigh that much.
Yeah, but he was going into the corner to get a puck, and he got lambasted by Danny Gare. So, and it was a bench clearing brawl after it. So, remember, Mike Palmateer was the one who got hurt in that Old Timers game. And
yes, he did. I remember that.
He made this unbelievable save, and then
we were at that game. I remember that.
And then he skated with off the ice on one skate.
Yeah, I felt bad because you could see he really did get hurt, and yeah, that certainly was a moment. I want to mention, Eck, if you got a sec, a couple of the college players. So there's a rumor that Keandre Miller may sign with the Rangers soon. Now, I guess there's an interview he did. I haven't seen it, where maybe he was saying he was struggling with college. I watched him in the World Juniors. I watched a few of his games this year. I don't think he's ready for the AHL. Yeah. I get rescuing him from college, but I don't know why they wouldn't put him back into the OHL. Now, maybe they will. Maybe he'll play just the AHL the rest of the year, and they'll do that next year. That would be my course of action. Yeah. I know some fans were taking exception with me because they feel like if a player's in the AHL with the pro coaching, it's better for him. That's only the case if they are ready for the AHL. Just because you're big and strong, you got to remember, he was a forward. He converted to a defenseman. I would slow it on that. I would really slow down his development a little bit and let him play a year in the OHL. And if he's ripping it up there, then fine. Let him play one more year in the AHL, and then he can come up to the Rangers. The other one, Eck, that's interesting is Wyatt Kaliniak, because he's a defenseman that the Flyers had the rights to until August. Yeah. Now, he can go back for another year, or he could sign. He has 28 points in 36 games. I've seen him play a fair amount. He is a prototypical power play defenseman who's really good offensively and excellent skater, right? I don't know if he's signing with the Flyers because where is the spot for him? Their power play is jammed, and it's jammed with young defensemen. Like, I know that the Flyers said they would like to sign him, and I know some of the media are saying they want him, but I don't know if there's a path for him because he's not going to be good just being used as like a third pairing defenseman with no power play, because then you're not using any of his abilities then.
Yeah. I was just getting texts about this there. What's going to be great if, by the way, guys, if we have Russ is like one of the best prospects people in the world. We'll have to pay him extra, but he's going to come on and help us out through this.
You don't have to pay me extra.
Help us through these next couple months. Paying you extra would be something.
Or cookies.
But no, we're going to have some good stuff. I mean, we are going to, if we launch right into,
I'll go more right into prospect mode.
Prospect mode, UFA mode. There's a lot of cool things we can do.
Yeah.
We forget how short the off season is. If we have a little bit longer off season, we can do a little bit more with it.
You'll be hearing a lot more progressive rock and baseball talk.
It's not a lot. It's not going to be as much.
Well, not baseball.
I was just curious if I just went through the Eastern Conference real fast, and did some math, Russ, because I wanted to see if they were to end it now and just go on the winning percentages, who makes it, right?
Right.
And so the Islanders. No, the Canes would be at 839 at an 839 points. Am I doing this right? Points. Let me figure this out again. Sorry, I got to figure something out. Sorry, I'm bad at math on the fly. I'll figure it out. We'll talk about it later.
Well, it's pretty sad that NHL.com. You go to their standings and they have everything except winning percentage.
Yeah.
They should have everything you could possibly have that. About teams and records and everything, and sometimes you can't find those little things and you have to go somewhere else. I don't know why NHL.com wants to send us somewhere else as a website. That's not what you want.
Right. It looks like to me that it would be Carolina and the Islanders that would make it, right? That's what it appears to be.
Well, as the wild cards.
Yeah, as a wild cards, because
if they went with the old format, yeah.
If they just went to winning percentages, okay. Your point, basically points percentage. I'm going to say like points. I guess it's point percentage. Would you have to do like how many points you could possibly have gotten versus how many points you have. So it looks like to me it would be Carolina and the Islanders who would get that.
See, I don't think they could do that only because Columbus is in playoff position. How do you all of a sudden take them out of the playoffs?
Yeah, you have to say that the points percentage.
I know. That's because they have
15 loser points. That's 15.
I know, but Mike, that's a part of the league. Like, I think Ken had a nice idea, but when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking about 10 years down the line when people look at this weird season, because now it's going to be a weird season. How do you explain that a team that is in the playoffs didn't make the playoffs? I don't think you can do that.
Right. No, I think
there's going to have to be a different method. I do.
I mean, I think the best thing would be to have like a play-in thing. I do think.
I really do, because it's not Columbus's fault they played more games.
Okay. Right. Here we go. Just reported by our good friend Frank Zervelli. Hearing as part of the NHL's due diligence process, teams have been asked to provide arena building availability through the end of July.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
So they're going to finish the regular season then.
That is absolutely asinine. It really is.
This is a gate-driven league, Mike. I mean, the bottom line is that.
So they're going to have a July 4th.
I mean, it's a gate-driven league, and the teams who, every team needs every gate. Like they can't be refunding money and stuff like that. It's a tough one because the NBA. This is where the NBA has it much easier because they have this. The television contracts are guaranteed.
Mike, you may need to cancel our Airbnb. I'm just saying that out loud.
Yeah.
It's already paid for, Russ.
They would have to get a refund. Venture to guess, guys, that they would have the draft anyway at the same time. And the reason I would say
they could do that.
They can't.
No, they could, because the draft is already
because the draft picks are based on results, like some results of
but once you know the last two teams are in the cup, you just I don't think that's the biggest deal in the world. They won't do it, but it's not a bad idea.
No, they won't. They won't. We'll be in Montreal in August.
Yeah,
Either
like
that,
I said,
either that or they'll be doing the draft like the NFL does over the phone.
I don't want to say Frank's wrong. I think they're just getting that availability just to see.
No,
I don't think they're going to have a July
right.
season.
Yeah, it is due diligence. I mean, it's part of the whole thing.
Right.
Like, okay, this is what, that is what they'd have to do. I mean, they'd have to be, and they've already done, like I was talking to people over the weekend and stuff like that, and when I wrote the best of 3 and best of 5, they were looking at every. That was from somebody at the league too. They're looking at every option that they're going to have here, whether or not they do that or not. Who knows? But I'm just saying that
the ice conditions will be wonderful in July, won't they?
I know. But I mean, it's hard, but you can do it. Obviously, you can do it. And there are tournaments. I mean, we played. The end of August is like brutally hot. And that's when we used to have the World Cup of Hockey and stuff like that, and all that stuff. So there's and the Canada Cup was in August. You can definitely. That's even hotter.
Well, let's put it this way: if for some reason the Cup runs until the end of June, the World Cup of Hockey is not happening.
Yeah. Well, no.
Here's an oldie but a goodie from our friend Ty Anderson, who tweeted this late last night. Says, without looking at the standings, got to say that it probably makes the most sense just to award the Stanley Cup to the team with the most points.
Yeah.
The only team with 100 points, Ty?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that would work for Boston.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot there, guys. Like I said, we're going to keep on top of this all day as the news comes through. I'll be writing about it on Hockey Buzz. We'll be talking about it again tomorrow. And if we're postponed, we'll have something fun for you tomorrow too, and talk about what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks to keep.
I do have one more deep thought, Eck. One more.
Wish we had some music here.
As we get past the virus and get through the season, and there's a cup champion, they're going to have to sanitize that cup after every time they give it to
You're right. You're right.
They're going to have to come up with a cup sanitation process.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm just thinking ahead.
Oh, you're. I mean, that cup does some things that they should be sanitizing it right now all the time anyway, Russ. I mean, let's face it. I think they already. I think
people, when they get the cup, they're going to have to pull off that white tissue paper in confidence, knowing that it's been sanitized.
Sorry, I would never eat cereal out of the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. For sure. Okay, here we go. Let's do it. Let's do a little bit of our thing here.
The draft lottery.
We might be running. We'll be running constant tankathons 24/7 for the rest of the year.
Listen. I've been writing about prospects for 3 months already. So
I know. I'm already well deep into UFA mode. So
yeah,
here we go. Ready?
Let's do it. Stop! You're ruining it.
Here's the static that's going on there. It's not. Don't adjust your television. Ottawa.
Oh,
I think this is the first time Ottawa's actually gotten this pick.
That's the worst case scenario, man. They're doing it with the Sharks pick.
They're not actually. They're not. This is their pick, but they are getting
that's right. There's the Sharks
and third round pick. The way this worked out,
right? If I gotta tell you,
overall, sorry.
If they get first and third, they'll be a good team in a couple of years.
Yeah. No, you got serious.
They'll be a good team in a couple of years either way.
They will be, but
first and third would be serious. They could get Drysdale and Lafreniere. That would be unbelievable.
Think about that. Yeah. I mean, they already have, and with the talent they already have.
Yeah. Oof.
That'll be fun. All right.
All they need is an arena
and a new owner.
It's all the time we have for today. Folks, enjoy the rest of your day. I guess I can't say.
It's hard to say that.
It's kind of hard to say that right now. Remember, without the virus, there's no hockey. No, without the buzz, it's just hockey. We will talk to you tomorrow.